And we're back for the final part of Copenhagen Dreaming for this week. And we are now faced with a once again vaguely human Ratigan, at least, you know, dressed and such like, looking very guilty and sorry for what he's been doing.
Sonny puts a hand on his shoulder. It's all right.
Agnes hands him the rest of the cookies she's been feeding him.
He takes the cookie quite happily and munches on it, and looks at all of you and goes, this was entirely voluntary. I did the whole thing on my own account.
I see.
Why did you go back to the apartment?
I figured there was nothing more to learn there. Just seemed like a, I don't know, fun idea to run back to the scene of the crime.
Oh, okay. Did you learn something then?
I think I learned something, but I'm not sure you did.
Okay.
But why
Sonny looks like he actually gets it.
Why did you just run out on Håkon? Like,
I just felt like it. It was just, it was just this idea I got that I just had to run away. It felt like such a good idea.
yes,
Right.
but that's pretty unpolite.
Agnes, you have to read between the lines.
Oh. Yeah, sure.
He does look very sorry.
So, how powerful or how close would someone have to be in the Winter Court to, or near the Winter Court, to be able to compel someone to leave like that?
Do you ask out loud?
Yes, slightly more articulately, but yes, basically it's a case of...
The Duchess leans back in her seat and says, strictly speaking, the person wouldn't have to be here at all if they had... Well, if they had placed a geese on Ratigan and set some kind of trigger for it, then that would do. But I have no idea what that geese would be or what the trigger was.
You said if you were very willful, you could, shake it off of yourself. But he's been wearing himself down trying to tell us the truth.
Yeah.
Sonny, could you... Is Sonny next to Ratigan in such a way that he would be able to grab him if he was...
Sonny has a comforting hand on the guy's shoulder. It doesn't look like he's, guarding him with his life. It's just, I'm here, don't worry.
Yeah.
At the risk of potentially finding that trigger, I remember Håkon said that Ratigan asked him for a drink, and then when he left to get it and then came back, he found Ratigan had transformed and was escaping. So maybe something occurred while Håkon was gone, or maybe it was that specific action.
Or something in the conversation prior.
Something similar has happened, actually. Thomas said that he asked Julian if he wanted something to drink, and when he came back, Julian was dead.
Ding, 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 ding. Somebody got an extra XP for the group for noticing that.
And while we know it took way longer for him to actually get the drink and get back, he doesn't. Thomas didn't know how long that took. He thinks it only took 2 minutes. What if it took longer?
So you think the getting a drink might be the trigger?
Maybe in this case, but it's too similar to just be a quink-dink. Maybe that's why he asked for a drink.
Well, I suppose, strictly speaking, we could try and trigger it again. He looks to the Duchess for her to confirm or not confirm.
It may not work more than once, she says, but I certainly see no problem with you trying. We are all here and we can... I think there's a reasonably good chance that I would be able to stop Ratigan from leaving if I wanted to, she says.
I've run him down once, I could do it again too.
Definitely.
Are you up for it, Ratigan?
Not at all. I think it's a horrible idea.
In that case, can I get you a drink?
You know, I don't actually feel all that thirsty.
Right. Jonas looks around for a glass.
And the moment you turn around, you can see Ratigan's eyes go glassy. And he immediately, you know, he just doink, goes into rat form again.
Yeah, Sonny catches him.
Yep. Before he even gets to the ground, it's like, yep,
Yeah,
yep,
like,
you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, that was the same glassy eyes he got when he was on his way into the lion den.
And now he's being all squirmy again because he wants to get away.
Shh. I promise you it's okay. He holds on to him.
Yeah.
You know, holding him into his body so he doesn't squish him or anything.
Yeah, of course. The Duchess is frowning up a storm behind the desk, going, there is some really powerful magic going on here, she says. I can sense this. And she,
if it's a trigger on him, maybe it's a trigger on Thomas too.
I think that's very likely.
We have testimony, we have audio evidence to suggest foul play in that regard. But is it enough to clear Thomas of the conviction yet?
If we can confirm that that is what happened to him, then yes, it is.
We could go down to his cell and ask him for a drink, I suppose.
And then he might try to kill one of us.
Yeah, that we kind of need a way to break it. She says.
Well, if we try it on Xenia and we can confirm that's what happened, then maybe we can find out a way to break it.
That's a good idea.
I'm full of them. But stopping to fight a redcap was what? One of them.
No,
right.
That's foolhardy, but...
Hey, if every, you know, one bad idea and two good, it's still on the favor side.
There's that. Also, you are clearly... you are still alive, and let's face it, you are... She just smiles slightly and goes, You're young and you're reckless, and that's kind of part of being young, which is fine.
You should thank Jonas for being alive. He stayed because I refused to go. I was waiting for him to run.
Well, in that case, Jonas, well done.
Thank you.
Well, you wouldn't run before I did, so you know.
Well, supporting one another is not a bad idea. But it does sound like you might need to learn how to use a weapon if you're planning on going up against redcaps in the future. I'm just saying.
I just have to kick harder.
Uh-huh.
I have a frightening question.
Do ask.
How do we know that there are not more people around with triggers?
We don't.
Is there a way to sense it?
Not unless we know exactly what magic is being used and how to recognize it.
So again, we come back to needing Xenia to come in and be tested.
Even
well,
then, but yeah, it's a good start.
We did feel it back in the apartment. So if that was the Ratigan's attempt at magic to see what happened, or if it was what she did, there's a big difference.
I still don't understand the blood that appeared there. I mean, that might have been part of the memory, but it was real. It was real blood, and then it just got sucked back into the wound to the hole in the ground afterwards.
Yeah, but you're forgetting that we are Fae. What is real for us might not be for other people.
That's true.
Could have been of the dreaming. I mean, we did, or you guys did hear echoes like we did when we were in there.
I think so, not. Yes! I sniffed it myself.
Right.
Well, that's what we had at the very least.
Yes.
What would you like us to contact Senia?
I would like for you to contact Senia, set up that she comes here tomorrow. I will be having words with the Duke before then, because this is no longer amusing.
I mean,
If it ever was.
The only reason that the lady has sided with the Shadow Court is because of him.
And I want to know why exactly. I want to know what this common story they have is.
At any rate, I'm not letting go of Ratigan.
No,
I know I
that's
can run him down.
probably a good idea. He is, by the way, slowly stopping squirming again.
At least we know one trigger to avoid now.
Yeah, I won't be asking him next time.
Well, we've got someone to contact, and I'm sure you are eager to get back to your business.
I should. You have all done really well already. I'm very impressed by everything you've already done.
Sonny's picking up the clothing.
Yeah, you might want to get the rat back into his clothes.
Yeah, and when he's back into his clothes, he can tell me where he didn't put his stuff, so he can get his stuff back.
Yes, something along those lines.
Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, you are welcome.
I'm just gonna let him borrow your bathroom again. Sorry.
Yes, obviously. You get him back into his clothes and so on, so yes.
And then I think we leave her office.
Yes.
Yes, so she can go fuming at someone else.
Yeah.
Angry she is, scary she. I'm happy it's not us she's shouting at.
Whew. All right. Jonas digs out his phone and texts Senia and asks if she's able to come here tomorrow.
Oh, she is. She is.
Forward to seeing her again then.
That's good. And yeah, he takes something back, like what Jasmine just said. Looking forward to seeing you then.
So,
what now?
say what can we do now? I mean,
Well, I'm actually almost afraid of going to bed after what happened yesterday.
I could use lunch.
Oh yeah, the factory.
Is there anyone else we need to go and check in on actually? Because we've.
Well, maybe we should tell Håkon that we actually found him.
What about Cecil and the others? If Ratigan has a trigger and they all experience the same weirdness, they might too.
Yeah, they actually might. Sunny looks at the Ratigan. Do you remember what happens?
What happens when?
When you suddenly get the urges to remember everything that happened.
I remember I get asked, and then I need to do something.
Do you remember you ran all the way from the apartment to almost Amar?
No.
When does
So
the
you-
memory pick up again?
One more time. That was on top of each other.
When does your memory pick up again?
Right away. He looks, he said no, so probably means yes.
Oh.
He doesn't look like he's straining to tell the truth right now. He looks
No, he's
exhausted.
probably too tired.
He's completely exhausted.
Did you have anything to eat today?
Cookie.
Careful, Sonny. Don't offer.
I just asked.
Yeah, just in case.
I know. If it happens, I'll run after him again.
I had a lot to eat, he says, and kind of takes the last nibble on the cookie.
Let's get in. We should probably eat something.
Yeah.
All of us.
Yes.
We've been chasing around all day. Right. I feel really he looks like he's searching for a way to explain things to you, but he doesn't need to. You can see that he is so tired he's practically dead on his feet.
Get him some sleep, really.
Actually, if you're tired, you can turn into a rat and sleep in my pocket. It wouldn't be a hassle.
Maybe in the bag.
Yes. You can sleep in the bag.
He immediately just, for the third time today, he just lets go of the clothes, turns into a rat, crawls into a bag, and a moment later there's a snoring rat in the bottom of the bag.
I think Sonny just closes his messenger bag carefully and picks up the clothing.
Right. Well, I could do with some lunch.
I could too.
Yep.
Definitely.
Right.
And I think we get some lunch.
Yes.
Well, there's a burger joint nearby.
Yep.
Lovely.
I think Sonny reflects slightly. I think it's actually a good thing I have ferrets. You learn to catch little slippery things.
Ah, that's where you got it from. I mean, I have to give props to Agnes as well. Catching a thrown rat mid-run is quite a feat as well.
Yeah, that was an amazing catch.
Try having two brothers just, throwing weird stuff at you, hoping it will land in your face.
Oh, that's where you have it from.
Ah.
Lovely.
Pets and siblings. They teach you things.
I wonder what I can learn from having a dog and a parrot.
To swear and bark.
I guess.
Oh, speaking of parrot, have yours started saying weird things?
My mom teaches us to say all sorts of weird things.
Oh good, then you haven't noticed.
What?
Nothing.
Right. Whatever you taught it is probably mostly my mom who's going to hear it.
That's awkward.
What did you teach it?
It wasn't me, it was, let's go get something to eat.
Right.
With the angry dog. I didn't do it!
So, if it wasn't for the fact that the result would probably be quite messy, the easiest way to solve a lot of things would go and ask Thomas for a drink, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But have you seen how big he is? I'm not gonna trust that the bars can hold him.
Yeah. And
But maybe there's a warden, so...
I mean, it's Thomas. We'd have to have multiple people to subdue him, probably, and they might still get hurt.
And if they can learn something with Zinnia, then maybe they can also detect it in him and remove it.
How did he even get the dagger?
Maybe. Let's just say that Julian also had a trigger. Maybe he brought it himself.
But what if the trigger was specific to Julian? Would something then happen if he gets triggered again?
That's a good question.
Well, you heard the recording. If it was her breathing, and let's just face it, that was a very, very deep breathing, so it was from something big. Maybe both of them had a trigger.
How easy it must be to set up scenarios like this if you can just control everyone like pawns. He looks disgusted.
Sonia lifts a brow, but doesn't comment.
That is one art I don't want to learn.
Let's get something to eat.
Yep.
Before my type removes itself completely.
Well, as I mentioned, there's a nice little burger joint nearby where they do really good, really juicy and messy burgers.
Yes. And we shall feast upon them.
Yes, the kind of thing that gives you really sticky fingers because, the bacon is mighty.
I'd say, if we eat ground beef meat, does that mean, does that give Sonny any flashbacks to earlier today?
No.
It probably does, but that only makes him murder. I give him roast beef next time I meet him.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Gotta go all vegetarian on his ass.
I think when they see the burgers come out, he just mumbles something about roasting a red cap later.
But yeah, I think actually what you mentioned earlier, Sonny, might be a good idea. We could both go to Felicia for strength training.
Oh, that part! I was wondering, I've had so many ideas today, and you don't always agree with all of them.
No, I don't. I really don't. But that one was good. I mean, I've already learned a little from her. She's a good teacher.
Well, I know I'm quick. I know I'm bendy. But apparently I don't kick hard enough.
I mean, we could probably all benefit from learning how to fight, just in case.
I know how to fight, but I've only fought, humans.
Well, I didn't mean necessarily you.
Right. He smirks.
What about you guys, Agnes, Jasmine? Do you know any self-defense?
I have some training in regards to the use of knives and bladed weapons and some archery skill.
Right. What about you, Agnes?
Well, more in the, like getting away, jumping, punching, jump away again, sort of things. Yeah, again, I have brothers.
Right, of course. I was just thinking maybe we should get one of those learn to defend yourself against a mugger or something courses and actually learn some basic self-defense.
What about you, Charlie? You know how to fight?
Not one bit. I mean, have you seen me? I'm practically minuscule.
I mean,
Hey,
you are,
hey.
I mean,
So is a corgi, but he's pretty good at fighting. You can't judge on the book,
I'll just keep to building a trap or trying to electrify.
Sorry, you go ahead.
No, you could always think about building some kind of, I don't know, knocker-inspired firearm or something. I could see you with a rifle or twirling a pair of fancy-looking revolvers with little, what's it called, steampunk? Look about them. Is that the right? Is that? I'm not very good with that sort of thing.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Just, disguise them as something that's not a gun.
You think he'll have problems?
Yes.
This is true. It's Denmark.
You could have one like in that James Bond film where it's lots of little things and you put it together.
Wouldn't that take time though?
I mean, maybe, but it makes it easier to conceal.
What about just making it look like a Nerf gun?
I actually have been playing with the thought of something firing batteries.
Batteries?
Yeah, something to do. I'll draw it for you guys later. But something to do with acid, electrical power, and just the heavy weight of a battery.
I don't want to be hit by that.
You mean like a car battery?
And no, a AA battery.
They can be pretty nasty. Besides, they're cheaper and easier to get a hold of than bullets.
This is true.
Very. I still think it's a good idea for us to get a self-defense course.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure Felicia will know that.
Oh yeah, she definitely will know that.
So we go to Felicia first, and then maybe look at speaking to the rest of Reinhardt's motley, or...
I mean, Reinhardt is probably still there.
He was sleeping when we were there last.
I'll text her and see if she's done with her coffee break. Beep boop bop. I text Felicia.
She is done with her coffee break. Right now, she's on her way home. She says that Heidi is looking after Reinhardt for the time being.
And then Jonas asks her again over text, did he get glassy-eyed when he tried to do things?
She didn't notice, she writes back. She didn't notice if he did.
Can we disturb your peace once more and come over?
Of course.
Right, Felicia's on her way home. We could probably meet her there.
We are the most nosy little group of Fae in this entire city.
I mean, we have kind of earned it, seeing as we're... Not only are we investigating a crime on behalf of the court, we have uncovered potentially a very serious conspiracy. Right!
Not only have we been condoned to do this, it's like curiosity is no longer a flaw.
That's one way of looking at it.
I think after paying, we go that way.
Okay.
Yes.
So you had...
Sunny checks on the rat in case he wakes up at some point,
Oh, the rat is out cold.
Yeah, but just checking that he doesn't get squished by anything.
Of course. No, he is sleeping quite happily underneath all his clothes in your bag.
I try to stuff them in so he doesn't get, squished by anything.
Exactly.
So yeah, he's probably sleeping in his shirt or something.
Yep. Snoozing rat.
Yep. It's almost too bad that he can't stay like this. He's rather cute in a rat.
Aren't most pet rats?
Yeah, they are.
Well, I don't think you can keep another person as a pet.
I'm not gonna. That was just creepy. I'm just lamenting the fact that he's less cute in a human form.
So, alright.
Yes, we disturbed the house piece of Felicia once more.
Well, Felicia isn't quite back yet. By the time you get there, you get there before her. But Heidi is there.
Hi.
Hi.
Did Felicia tell you we were coming by?
Yes, she sent a message.
Sorry about all the walking in and leaving and walking in and leaving.
No, it's fine. You're friends of the house. You're welcome. And Felicia did let me know that this is really, really important, so don't worry about it.
Alright.
Well, thanks anyways.
Oh, troll business and all that.
Look, sir, it's Heidi again. And Corgi initiates Pit Papele!
Yes. He basically invades her personal space, turns over on his back and wriggles, and is like, nuzzle me now, human. She just surrenders. There's no point in trying to resist.
There's no point in trying to resist the derp face of a dog laying on its back with the tongue lolling out the side of its mouth with its tail wagging wildly.
Yep. So
since she mentioned troll business, does Jonas know how much she knows?
She's known to be pretty much, well, she is constantly enchanted.
Okay.
So that she's I made a what's it called? I made an entry for her under humans. Let's find it here. There we go.
Aww.
So, yeah.
She's a teacher. Maybe she can teach us.
But she's she's not she's as it says, she's not Kinane. So Felicia is basically spending a pretty steady stream of glamour to keep her enchanted, so that she doesn't forget, because if the mists go down, then that would be a problem.
Yeah.
Depending on her willpower, of course, but
yeah,
that's
of course.
in the very few.
Yeah. Well,
Is
you can.
Reinhardt awake?
He just came around 5 minutes before you got here, so he is.
Okay, it was just
be gentle with him. He's not in a good place.
Of course.
Of course. Maybe we should leave him alone. I don't know.
Well, if he's in the living room, it would be kind of rude.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Sonny just walks in, stretches his wings a little, and looks around.
Yeah, you are met by this vision of sad elfness in the living room, which is horrifically beautiful and horribly unnatural.
You just hear the sound of Evenstar from the Lord of the Rings soundtrack playing in the background quietly.
Yes.
Oh, don't do that to me. Well, Sonny smiles at him. Hello.
Oh, hi, Sonny.
Is there anything you need?
I wouldn't mind if you could somehow bring Julian back, but I think
I'm afraid not.
I think we're past that point.
Sonny just sits down beside him. I'm afraid not.
I mean, if it had even just, however horrible it sounds, but I would have stayed with him even if he had just been mortal. If they had killed off the Chthane in him, that wouldn't have made any difference to me.
It would still be him, yeah.
Well, it would be some of him, at least. But they didn't do that. They just butchered him.
Yeah.
Tell me you found out something.
We have.
Oh, that's good.
And tomorrow we will have someone who can test it out.
Okay. So, am I to understand this correctly, that it wasn't actually Thomas who did this?
Well, as far as we've understood, there's a thing called sovereign.
Yes, there is. I know a
And-
little of it, but not a lot.
And as far as we've understood, the lady is a master at it.
She's a
picked
master
up-
of many things, so yes.
And we are testing that out tomorrow to see if that's what exactly happened.
But-
we are guessing that there might have been triggers to do this, as there were with Ratigan. Whenever someone offers him a drink, he goes glassy-eyed and does whatever he can to kill himself.
That's horrible. I mean,
Yes.
Ratigan
And we...
is harmless. He's a nice guy.
He was also the only one who knew about all this. The lady has been taunting him for quite a while because she knew no one would believe him. He confessed everything he
poor
knew,
guy.
and then he tried to jump into the lion den because of the lady.
But you stopped him, right?
Yeah, he's sleeping in my bag right now. We found out he had a trigger because of Håkon asked if he wanted a drink, and when he came back, he was running off to Wat Amma, where Redcap was waiting to pick him up. So everything is pointing in that direction, but we don't have definitive proof. And we hope we will get a more understanding of it tomorrow. If we can find out if it was sovereign for sure, there might be a way to break it all.
At the risk of addressing the political side of things right now, and I know that's not really what you want to think about at the moment, I respect that, but the evidence is increasingly pointing to the idea that Julian's murder was politically motivated, not just in terms of him as a she, but without beating about the bush about it, Reinhard, you are in charge of quite an important patch of land. If you were to lose all hope, if you were to neglect your duties or to end it all, would leave the Fae of Copenhagen and of Denmark much more vulnerable to the Shadow Court, to the Lady, to anyone who might wish ill things upon us all. This is all part of a game they're playing with all of us to try and start the old conflicts again.
And using Thomas to do it would, had we just gone with our first assumption that he did it and everything was his fault and murdered him, where would all the commoners be? It would be very easy to turn.
It would be. He's a very popular man for good reason. He's a paragon to most people.
Yeah.
So yeah, it seems Baron Steele is trying to stir up old wars.
The worst part is that shouldn't actually surprise me or anyone. He hates the she.
The frightening part is that he has the lady on his side.
Yeah, that is terrifying.
And the Duchess don't think that she gives a fuck about everything that he's trying to do. She has her own beef with the Duke.
There are stories from back when the Resurgence Wars were still raging. There are stories that the Duke did not... Well, he looks very uncomfortable right now.
It's okay if you can't say it.
You should fight with honor.
Yeah, you should.
You should be... Noblesse oblige. If you are a noble, it obliges.
Are you perchance talking about Kindle?
Well, Kindle is just one story. He wasn't actually... Where do you know of Kindle from? But the Duke wasn't... The Duke didn't ride Kindle. Someone else did.
Who?
A man called Ivar Kos. He was a Dougal. A baron of House Dougal.
Oh, him we've heard about.
And he was brutal. I mean, really, really brutal.
Yeah, we saw.
How? You're
We
not that
were pulled
old.
into the dreaming.
We ended up in of a memory of an entire troll family being slaughtered by him.
That sounds significant. I mean...
We found a bow there from House Dougal and what? A sword?
Sword.
The thing is that if you were pulled into the dreaming, that's incredibly mighty. Yeah, that's powerful magic.
Yeah, the Duchess thinks that it might have been the dragon.
I think so too. And I think the reasoning might be that they want to show us the horrors committed by people so that we might be easily swayed to their cause. But that's just my guess.
It's as good a guess as any.
Well, it does light Baron Steele's little thing in a prettier light, but I still don't like what he's doing. Had he
No.
been an honorable troll and done it the right way instead of being such a bloody mess, to put it mildly, right? Then people might actually go to his cause for the good reasons. Looks like the only one who actually joins him is the ones who want blood everywhere.
To quote a television show, there's no such thing as a good war, kiddo.
I know there is nothing as a good war, but there are good intentions.
There are good intentions indeed.
There are some who... Well... Sorry! I just inhaled at the wrong time there.
Oh, that's nice.
Ouch.
While wars are never pretty, there are those who try to have the outcome of the war be a good one. And
I
those who
think-
try to only revel in the war because of the killings.
I think you'll find that most people are not the revelers, but both sides have people wanting the best. It's just that they're not agreeing on what the best outcome is.
This is true.
Nobody gets up in the morning, or very few people get up in the morning and say, "Today I'm going to be evil in so many new ways."
Unless, of course, you're Crimson. Then I'm pretty sure that's exactly what you think when you get up in the morning.
And Crimson is just insane.
Yep.
But he says, no, I think even Baron Steele is convinced that what he's doing is the right thing. However
That's...
twisted it might be for all the rest of us.
I think that's what makes it even more dangerous, right? If you have the conviction that you think what you're doing is right.
I don't think he'd have lasted as long as he has if he hadn't got that conviction.
I think that's
Exactly.
very true.
If he was in it for the fun, then
It almost
probably
makes me...
wouldn't have been here.
It almost makes me sad that I can't sit down and talk to the man. But he'd never sit
It's,
down and talk to the she.
I were about to say so.
Anyway, he says. Anyway. It looks like you've struck on something important.
It looks
Yeah.
like it.
Though even though if we get this fixed, I'm pretty sure it's not over yet.
No, I think there's a good chance it won't be, he says.
I mean, the Duchess was livid.
That must have been a sight to behold, though, he says with a crooked smile. And,
I'm just happy it's not me she was going to yell at.
I think that goes without saying.
Yeah.
And as you guys talk about the Duchess being in a foul mood, it's a good place to fade out for tonight. Because it's now 10 o'clock.
Yes, pretty much.
And you're going to get an extra XP for the connection that I made earlier, because that was well spotted.
Yes.
So you're going to get 4 XP for tonight.
Neat. Well done,
I
AJ.
am smart. SMRT.
I've got a total of 14 over the course of the campaign. Does that chalk up with the people who've been here every session they can?
It adds up with me.
Okay. So everyone should have 14 points in total, and then however many you have to spend deducted.
It doesn't to me. But
You might have missed. You might have missed
barely
a session where we
last
didn't.
time.
Yes.
Right. Well, and for the listening audience, ladies and gentlemen, that was it for this week's Copenhagen Dreaming. We can hope that you will be back next week for more, obviously, and from us here at CharismaToAC. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Goodbye.